Good morning, children. Today in this lecture, we will be discussing about the COPD. We all know your COPD is known as chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. Okay, so these are what diseases that will be causing chronic airflow irreversible obstruction. Okay. Now what happens? The standard definition of COPD that is given by Gold 24 COPD definition states that COPD is heterogeneous lung condition that is characterized by chronic respiratory symptoms like dyspnea, cough, sputum production, and exacerbations. Due to abnormalities of airways, it can be because of bronchitis, it can be because of bronchiolitis, and of alveoli like emphysema that cause persistent and often progressive airflow obstruction. So you can see the major problem in COPD is airflow obstruction. And now the definition given by Gold 24 COPD definition states that it is a heterogeneous lung condition. It can involve dyspnea, cough, sputum production, and acute exacerbations. So it can be because of airways or alveoli. When airways, it could be chronic bronchitis, it could be chronic bronchiolitis, or when alveoli are involved, it can be because of emphysema. So when we talk about COPD, what are the group of disorders that come under COPD? There are three very important group of disorders that come under COPD. One is emphysema. Second is chronic bronchitis. And third is small airway diseases. And what are small airway diseases? The airways that are diameter that is less than 2 mm. Okay, they are considered as small airways. Now let us just see the definition of chronic bronchitis. The definition of chronic bronchitis is defined as chronic productive cough for 3 months in each of 2 successive years. Means cough production, cough with sputum, that is productive cough with sputum for 3 months in each of 2 successive years. For 2 successive years, there should be production of cough with sputum for at least 3 months. In patient whom the other causes of chronic cough, like bronchiectasis have been excluded. The definition of emphysema is a pathological term. Okay? Chronic bronchitis is a clinical term. Okay? Because you can clinically diagnose a patient. Okay? Chronic bronchitis is clinical. You can make clinical diagnosis. Why you can make clinical diagnosis? Because you have to just find out the history of cough. And emphysema is a pathological term that describes some of the structural changes sometimes associated with CD. These basic definition of emphysema is abnormal and permanent enlargement of the air spaces distal to the terminal bronchioles. The term that you have to remember is terminal bronchioles. That is accompanied by destruction of the airspace wall without obvious fibrosis. There is no fibrosis visible to the naked eyes. Okay, so this is definition. So what definition you have to remember? That emphysema is the abnormal and permanent dilatation of the airways distal to the terminal bronchioles. Okay, you all know what comes after distal. What comes after terminal bronchiole? Can you tell me the structure of airways that come distal to the terminal bronchiole? You will be getting respiratory bronchiole, and you will be getting alveolar duct and alveoli. So these are the structures. These are the structures that are involved in emphysema. So emphysema की definition is destruction or abnormal and permanent dilatation or enlargement of the airways distal to the terminal bronchioles. मतलब distal to the terminal bronchioles, you are having respiratory bronchioles, you are having alveolar duct, and you are having alveoli. These three structures, and it is not always associated with fibrosis. This you have to remember. Then small airway diseases, you all know the diameter should be less than 2 mm. These are small airways. They become narrow by cells hyperplasia or accumulation of mucus and the fibrosis and extensive small airway destruction. Okay, so this can be the small airway diseases. Okay, so you have to remember there are two major diseases that you have to remember in COPD. One is emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Chronic bronchitis is a clinical diagnosis and emphysema is a pathological diagnosis. You should remember. After that, let us see the prevalence of COPD in our country. इसमें से जो मैं line लिखवाऊंगा that you have to remember. The prevalence of COPD in it is 22% in men and 1.2% in women. This is worldwide data, but you have to remember in India it is 3.6. This data you have to remember. 3.67% among males and 2.86% in females. This data you have to remember. Then implication of mortality. This is the fourth leading cause of death and affects more than 10 million person in United States. But we have to remember about India. In India, it is 3% cause of daily. And COPD is the major cause of chronic respiratory diseases. In India, COPD causes 55 lakh deaths per year. These are the data you have to remember. Then what are the risk factors of COPD? Let us see what are the risk factors for COPD. The most important risk factor for COPD is smoking. Okay, the smoking is the most important risk factors for the COPD. Okay, we will be discussing later. अब ध्यान से देखो, prevalence you don't have to remember, risk factors. Let us see the risk factors. This is a very important table for risk factors, but the most important that you have to remember is smoking. Tobacco smoking is the most important risk factor. That's why it is written in top. Then environmental tobacco, that is passive smoking, exposure to the biomass fuel or smoke, and occupational exposure. And the most important is alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So you have to remember only these risk factors. These are the established risk factors of COPD. It is the tobacco smoking, environmental, that is the passive smoking, then exposure to the biomass fuel. Biomass fuel means, what is biomass fuel? Smoke. You have seen that old ladies, those who used to cook in chulhas, burn wood and coal. So that's why these are biomass fuel smoke. So they can also have some occupational history you have to take, and alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So these are the risk factors of COPD that you have to write in your notebook. Then the definition, we have already studied about COPD. Now comes what is the pathophysiology of COPD. Okay, so we will write down pathophysiology of COPD. So now first we will be discussing about emphysema. To put heading emphysema. What is emphysema? We have already discussed. It is abnormal, permanent dilatation of airways distal to the terminal bronchiole. Distal to the terminal bronchiole. Okay. So what does it include? Terminal bronchiole include what? Distal part में what it will include? It will be including respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct, and alveoli. ठीक है, these together they are known as acinus. These together they are known as acinus, and your acinus is the respiratory unit. Your SNS is the respiratory unit. Your SNS is the respiratory unit. This thing you have to remember. Now, how the pathophysiology, let us look at the pathophysiology. How does this is taking place? Let us see the diagram for pathophysiology. Put heading pathophysiology of emphysema. First of all, classification of emphysema. Your emphysema is being classified into three types. First, it is known as Sentry SNR. Sentry SNR emphysema. It is the second most common type, where center of SNS is involved. Center of SNS is involved, and it is most commonly seen in males, and smoking, and your upper lobe of lung is involved. This is Sentry SNR. Second is your Pan SNR. What is Pan SNR? Pan SNR emphysema means entire SNS is involved. ठीक है, होल जिसमें रेस्पिरेटरी, ब्रोंकियल, एल्वियोलर डक्ट और एल्वियोलाई both are involved. So entire SNS is involved, then it is known as Pan SNR emphysema. ठीक है, when entire SNS is involved. After that we are having, put heading third, we are having paraseptal emphysema. What is paraseptal emphysema? It is seen in young males and smokers obviously, and it is associated with spontaneous pneumothorax. ठीक है. Fourth, we are having irregular emphysema. What is irregular? It can involve any part. ठीक है, it can involve any part of emphysema, and it is the most common type. ठीक है. So if anybody asks what is the most common type of COPD or emphysema, it is the irregular type that can involve any part. ठीक है. Your paraseptal is seen in young males and smoker history is there. The next thing that you have to remember about this case is that most of the cases it is idiopathic. And Pan SNR, where entire SNS is involved, it is mostly due to alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. This enzyme. ठीक है. Now we will be looking for the pathophysiology. How does this happens? What happens if a patient is having smoking? If patient is smoking, ठीक है बेटा, if patient is smoking, so what happens? This is smoking, that cigarette smoke. Along with, if a patient is having some genetic susceptibility, together they will stimulate certain cells in the airways. 4 cells. Let us see what are these 4 cells. First, macrophages. What macrophages will do? Macrophages will release certain enzymes like protease and anti-protease. ठीक है. And they will stimulate neutrophil to release elastase enzyme. And this elastase enzyme, what it will do? What it will do, beta? This elastase enzyme will damage extracellular matrix. तो इलास्टिसिटी चली जाएगी एयरवे की, तो दैट विल कॉज परमानेंट डायलिटेशन. सेकेंड, स्मोकिंग कैन स्टिमुलेट डायरेक्टली न्यूट्रोफिल्स. When it will stimulates neutrophils, so the pathway that it will follow, this is your pathway heading, ठीक है. And here ठीक है, this is the pathway. Here what happens, oxidant and antioxidant pathway it follows. So what happens, it will stimulate what, NF kappa beta enzyme, and this is responsible for chronic inflammation. Then it will act on epithelial cells of lung. These epithelial cells, it will follow apoptosis, that will lead to cell death, ठीक है. Then it will stimulate lymphocytes. It will stimulate lymphocytes. Lymphocytes, they will do lung repair by secreting TGF beta and elastin, and that will cause ineffective repair. That can cause ineffective repair, ठीक है. So this is the pathophysiology of lung. Basically this is the pathophysiology of COPD, emphysema. How does smoking is triggering this. अब देखो what is happening, why emphysema, the patient is having airway retention. This is the problem. क्या हो रही है कि why the patient is having airway retention. Let us understand this through diagram. This is normal airway. Suppose ये alveoli है, ये normal airway है, ठीक है. तो you all know your alveoli remain open because of some traction pull. There is radial traction that keeps airways open normally. So what happens, because of elasticity this happens. Now what happens in COPD, this elasticity is lost and airway remains permanent dilated, ठीक है. देखो this elasticity is lost, airway damage हो रहा है, elasticity is lost, ठीक है. there is loss of radial traction, ठीक है. So what happens, इंस्पिरेशन में एयर विल कम, ठीक है, नॉर्मली, बट एक्सपायरेशन में जो इसका कोलैप्स होता है इलास्टिसिटी की वजह से, जो अंडर की तरफ एल्वेओलाई कोलैप्स होगी जिसकी वजह से एयर बाहर जाएगी, इट विल वोंट हैपन. सो एयर वोंट गो आउट ऑफ द एल्वेओलाई एंड इट विल स्टार्ट रिमेनिंग इन द एयर लंग्स एल्वेओलाई. तो इट विल कॉज एयरवे रिटेंशन, ठीक है. तेरे को ड्यूरिंग इंस्पिरेटरी फेज व्हाट हैपन्स, during inspiratory phase what happens, airways opens, but during expiratory phase what happens, air in the alveoli will not cause air to expelled out, and that will be causing air retention. ठीक है. So this way you can see in emphysema what is happening because of permanent dilatation of the airways. There is this problem, ठीक है. So this you have to remember, ठीक है. So we discussed the pathophysiology of emphysema, where we discussed different types of SNRs. ठीक है, टर्मिनल ब्रोंक्यूल, रेस्पिरेटरी ब्रोंक्यूल्स क्या होते हैं ये भी पता चल गया। तो टर्मिनल ब्रोंक्यूल के बाद वाला जितना भी पार्ट होता है इट इज नोन एज एसएनएस, एंड एसएनएस इंक्लूड्स रेस्पिरेटरी ब्रोंक्यूल, एल्वियोलर डक्ट एंड एल्वियोलाई। ठीक है, तो दीज आर द थिंग्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर। ठीक है, सो ये तुम्हारा था द पैथोफिजियोलॉजी ऑफ एम्फाइसीमा। Now what happens? Because of this, gaseous exchange is also impaired. The partial pressure of oxygen, that is PO2, remains nearly normal and until the FE1 is decreased to 50%. ठीक है, इसमें FE1 कम होता है। ठीक है, एलिवेशन ऑफ आर्टीरियल POCO2 क्यों बढ़ेगा? इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड until FEV1 is less than 25%. So let us see what is alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. Alpha normal concentration is this. Alpha-1 antitrypsin 100 to 273 milligram per deciliter. The phenotype is PIMM. Molecular weight you need not to remember. Gene you should remember. It is SERPINA1. It is present on chromosome 14. ठीक है. Levels rise in alpha-1 antitrypsin when there is trauma, estrogen therapy and use of birth pills and during pregnancy. When you can suspect, this is a very important question, when you can suspect the alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency in a patient, when there is early onset COPD, that is the age of onset is less, COPD is less than 45 years, and early onset emphysema, that is, ठीक है, and emphysema in the absence of any recognized risk factor. This is very important, that the patient is coming to you with COPD but he is having no risk factors like smoking and dust exposure, occupational dust exposure, no history. And emphysema with prominent basilar hyperlucency. ठीक है, the hyperlucency will tell you that there is hyperinflation. ठीक है, asthma with airflow obstruction, that is incompletely reversed after aggressive treatment. So these are the histories that you have to remember, but you have to take family history also. You can take the family history of emphysema, bronchiectasis and liver disease and paniculitis. These things can be there, and you can also take history of, it is associated with antiproteinase 3 vasculitis, that is C ANCA, है ना, ANCA C ANCA वेस्कुलाइटिस की भी हिस्ट्री ले सकते हो। तो alpha-1 antitrypsin की हिस्ट्री जब भी लोगे, क्वेश्चन कम्स व्हेन यू विल सस्पेक्ट अ पेशेंट कैन हैव, व्हेन यू कैन सस्पेक्ट अ पेशेंट कैन हैव alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. First, whenever there is early onset COPD at the age less than 45 years age, in the absence of risk factors like smoking and occupational dust exposure, and there is it can be associated with C ANCA vasculitis, and there is family history of bronchiectasis, emphysema and liver disease. You have to rule out these. Bronchiectasis without evident etiology, or there is liver disease, because alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency is the metabolic cause for liver disease also. How you treat these patients? Let us see. Gold suggests that most suitable patients of augmentation have severe alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, and जो FE1 होता है it is 35 to 65% of the predicted value. Serum levels of alpha-1 antitrypsin less than 11 microgram and established airflow obstruction, that is 50. जो FE1 normally तुम्हारा 75 to 80% होता है, उससे कम होना चाहिए, है ना। And we can do the जब भी होता है तो we have to predict who have quit smoking and optimal medical therapy. Less than 11 microgram से with FEVN to 25 to 80% predicted who have quit smoking and are on optimal medical therapy. Basically what we give artificial antitrypsin from the outside, so we give alpha antitrypsin augmentation. ठीक है, we obtain the baseline of serum AGA levels, and then we because therapy contains some IgA levels, and patients with severe deficiency of IgA are at risk of anaphylaxis with infusion of pooled human alpha-1 antitrypsin. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली हमें जब भी हम कुछ भी बाहर से alpha-1 antitrypsin देंगे तो it can cause anaphylactic reaction, so we need some antibodies in the blood. What is the dose that is given? It is given at the dose of 60 mg per kg of body weight. ठीक है, नाउ क्वेश्चन, ये तुम्हारा थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट बेटा यहाँ तक की है। ठीक है, ये सारी चीज़ें क्लिनिकल हैं जो कि तुम्हारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, तुम बस सुन लो, यू नीड नॉट टू मेक नोट्स ऑफ इट। ठीक है, that what are the clinical indicators for considering the diagnosis of COPD. So what are the clinical indicators? Dyspnea, patient that is progressive over time, worse with exercise and is persistent. Patient is having recurrent wheeze, chronic cough, may be intermittent or may be non-productive, recurrent lower respiratory tract infections. So these are the things that you have to remember: dyspnea, recurrent cough, recurrent wheeze, chronic cough, and recurrent respiratory tract infections. They can be the chronic indicators that the patient can have COPD. Okay, what are the risk factors in the history? You will ask for the COPD. You have to ask for the tobacco smoke, smoke from the home cooking or heating fuels, and occupational dust, vapors, fumes, and other chemicals, and host factors like genetic factors like developmental abnormalities, birth weight, and prematurity and childhood respiratory infections. So these are the histories you have to take from a patient. Okay, first of all, what are the first thing for what clinical symptoms that will click in your mind that will give that the patient can have COPD? First is dyspnea, that is progressive over time, worse with exercise and persistent. The patient is having recurrent wheeze, patient is having chronic cough, patient is having recurrent lower respiratory tract infection, LRTI, that is your pneumonia only. Okay, and histories that you have to take like tobacco smoking, and smoke from home cooking and heating fuels, occupational dust exposure, fumes, and some genetic factors you can take history. Physical examinations, you will always get hyperinflation, signs of hyperinflation, because COPD में क्या हो रहा है, एयरवेज परमानेंट डायलेट हो रहे हैं, एक्सपेल्ड आउट नहीं हो रही है एयर, तो देयर इज परमानेंट डायलेटेशन ऑफ द एयरवेज, देयर इज एयर रिटेंशन. So you will be getting barrel shaped chest and enlarged lung volumes. You have to note down this, and poor diaphragmatic excursion as expected by the percussion. Use of accessory muscle of respiration, this is very important, and sitting is a characteristic sitting position, that is you will be getting tripod position. There will be paradoxical inward movement of the rib cage with inspiration, and this is known as Hoover sign. This is important thing, you have to note down this. These 3 points you have to note down. Hyperinflammation, you will be getting barrel shaped chest because of enlarged lung volumes. You will be seeing a use of accessory lung muscles of respiration, and the patient will be sitting in tripod position, and paradoxical inward movements of ribs during inspiration. Paradoxical inward movement of ribs during inspiration is known as Hoover sign, that you have to remember. Clubbing is rarely seen, so this you have to remember, there is no clubbing in COPD. It's if you get clubbing, then it is suggest of bronchiectasis, asbestosis, or lung carcinoma. Now question comes, how you make the diagnosis? How you make the diagnosis of COPD? So this is a question. This is CAT assessment that can be done in your exam. That can be done in the OPD by the patient. You have to score accordingly, and you will write a score. Okay, suppose a patient is say you will ask, I am very happy, I am very sad, तो इस तरह से score है, मतलब 0 will I am very happy and 5 will tell that I am very sad. This is example. Suppose I never have a cough, तो if the patient says मुझे कभी खांसी नहीं हुई, you will give 0 point. अगर patient is saying कि मुझे थोड़ी थोड़ी खांसी होती है, तो you will mark 3 or 2, है ना. अगर पेशेंट कह रहा है मुझे हमेशा खांसी रहती है, तो यू विल मार्क 5. ठीक है, तो दिस विल वर्क अकॉर्डिंगली. तो दिस इज नोन एज CAT असेसमेंट. CAT असेसमेंट, ठीक है, CAT असेसमेंट्स. हियर यू हैव टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन, व्हाट क्वेश्चंस, लाइक आई नेवर हैव अ कफ, ठीक है, 0 5 क्वेश्चंस. माई चेस्ट डज नॉट फील टाइट, चेस्ट टाइटनेस की हिस्ट्री लोगे. आई हैव म्यूकस इन माई चेस्ट, है ना. व्हेन आई वॉक अप हिल और फ्लाइट और 1 फ्लाइट ऑफ स्टेयर्स, जब स्टेयर्स चढ़ता है तब उसे ब्रेथलेसनेस होता है. ही इज सो मच ब्रेथलेसनेस दैट ही कैन नॉट लीव द होम. ही स्लीप साउंडली, ठीक है, स्नोरिंग की आवाज़ आ रही. ही हैव लॉट्स ऑफ एनर्जी. ही, ठीक है, तो दिस इज द हिस्ट्री यू विल टेक, एंड यू विल कैलकुलेट द स्कोर अकॉर्डिंगली. ठीक है, एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो गो फॉर स्पायरोमेट्री, है ना. स्पायरोमेट्री में वी कैलकुलेट FeV1, जो कि हमने पढ़ाया था तुम्हें, कि जब भी स्पायरोमेट्री करते हैं वी कैलकुलेट अ रेशियो ऑफ FeV1 अपॉन FVC. नॉर्मली FeV1 और FVC का रेशियो बेटा कितना होता है? FeV1 का रेशियो तुम्हारा 70% होना चाहिए, 70 to 80% होना चाहिए नॉर्मल. FeV1 जो होता है फर्स्ट सेकंड में जितना एक्सपायरेशन होता है वो 80% ऑफ द फोर्स वाइटल कैपेसिटी होना चाहिए. दिस यू नो, इट इज़ 80%. अगर इससे कम आ रहा है देन इट इज़ COPD. बट वॉट वी विल डू, वी विल गिव ब्रोंकोडायलेटर. ठीक है, हम ब्रोंकोडायलेटर देंगे. अगर ब्रोंकोडायलेटर के बाद, ध्यान से सुनना बेटा, ब्रोंकोडायलेटर के बाद तो देयर इज रिवर्सिबिलिटी, तो इट इज़ एजमा. अगर देयर इज़ नो रिवर्सिबिलिटी, इट इज़ COPD, ठीक है। पोस्ट ब्रोंकोडायलेटर भी तुम्हारा 70 से कम है, तो इसी के अकॉर्डिंग हमने गोल्ड 1, गोल्ड 2, गोल्ड 3, गोल्ड 4 क्लासिफिकेशन किया बेस्ड ऑन FEV1 कितना है। अगर वो 80% से ज़्यादा है तो इट इज़ गोल्ड 1, 50 to 79 आ रहा है गोल्ड 2, एंड 30 to 49 आ रहा है इट इज़ गोल्ड 3, एंड गोल्ड 4 जो होगा वो तुम्हारा 30 से कम होगा। दिस यू हैव टू मेक इन योर डायग्राम। इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन, दिस इज़ अ क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ गोल्ड, क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ COPD। अब इसके बाद हमने क्या किया, ABE की क्लासेस कर दी, ठीक है। ABE की क्लास कर दी, क्लासिफिकेशन का। दिस वॉज ओल्ड एंड नाउ वी हैव क्लासिफाइड इनटू A, B and E। तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन more than 2 moderate exposures, if a patient is having more than 2 moderate exposures, exacerbations and more than 1 equal to hospitalization, then it is E. More than 2 moderate exacerbations and more than 1 episode of hospitalization, then you will label as E. 0 to 1, अगर 0 to 1 moderate exacerbations है and there is no hospitalization, तो you will classify as A or B। अब A और B को डिफ्रेंशिएट करने के लिए you will calculate the MMRC grading। And what is MMRC grading? It is Modified Medical Research Council। ब्रेथलेसनेस के लिए डिस्निया की ग्रेडिंग होती है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग अगर 0 to 1 MMRC है देन इट विल बी A। और जो अभी हमने ऊपर कैट स्कोर देखा बेटा, कैट स्कोर अगर तुम्हारा कैट स्कोर लेस देन 10 है देन यू विल लेबल इट एज A कैटेगरी। अगर MMRC 2 से ज़्यादा है और कैट तुम्हारा 10 से ज़्यादा है देन इट विल बी B, ठीक है। तो दिस थिंग यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, ठीक है। इतना ही तुम्हारे लेवल पे सिर्फ इतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। यू विल मेक दिस डायग्राम, this much only, this one, don't write this much is the classification of COPD and you will write here CAT score। what is CAT score? इसमें headings लिख लेना इस तरह से and you can write down कितने scores होते हैं, ठीक है। तो in this way we classify the COPD in A, B और E classification, ठीक है। अब देखो ध्यान से, COPD के डायग्नोसिस के लिए देखो, एजमा इज अ रिवर्सिबल ब्रोंकोकॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन, उसमें एयरवे नैरोइंग हो रही है बिकॉज विच इज़ रिवर्सिबल। तुम पेशेंट को ब्रोंकोडायलेटर दोगे उसकी रिवर्सिबल हो जाएगा, पेशेंट विल इम्प्रूव इन एस्मा। बट व्हाट हैपन्स इन COPD, देयर इज इरिवर्सिबल डायलिटेशन, तो पेशेंट विल नॉट इम्प्रूव बेटा, पेशेंट विल नॉट इम्प्रूव इन एस्मा, ठीक। COPD में नहीं होता है। तो स्पायरोमेट्री इज रिक्वायर्ड टू मेक अ डायग्नोसिस द प्रेजेंस ऑफ पोस्ट ब्रोंकोडायलेटर। अगर पोस्ट ब्रोंकोडायलेटर तुमने ब्रोंकोडायलेट कर दिया उसके बाद भी FEV1 0.7% से कम आ रहा है, 70% से कम आ रहा है, दैट विल कन्फर्म दी diagnosis of air flow limitation, that will confirm the that can give the possibility of COPD, ठीक है। तो spirometry is required to make the diagnosis of COPD if post bronchodilator response is still less than 70%, FEV1 upon FEC का रेशियो जो है वो लेस देन 0.7% है, then it will confirm that there is COPD, ठीक है। some individuals have respiratory system that you don't have to remember, ठीक है। बस इतना ही तुम्हें this you have to note down in your notebook। this is not for you, ठीक है। सी दिस इज द क्लासिफिकेशन अगेन, जो अभी हमने ऊपर गोल्ड 1, गोल्ड 2, गोल्ड 3, गोल्ड 4 पढ़ा था, दिस इज अगेन गोल्ड 1, ठीक है। तो इसमें हमने क्या किया, गोल्ड 1 को माइल्ड बोलते हैं, गोल्ड 2 को मॉडरेट बोलते हैं, गोल्ड 3 को सीवियर बोलते हैं, एंड गोल्ड 4 को वेरी सीवियर बोलते हैं, ठीक है। और इसी के अकॉर्डिंग इसमें क्या होगा, FEV1 जो होगा 80% से ज़्यादा होगा, इसमें तुम्हारा 80% से कम होगा, ठीक है। FEV1 जो होगा वो 80% से कम होगा, इसमें 50% से कम होगा, इसमें 30% से कम होगा, ठीक है। तो दिस थिंग यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, तो दिस थिंग यू हैव टू मेक इट इन योर नोटबुक। दिस इज MMRC ग्रेडिंग जो मैंने पढ़ाया था कि व्हाट इज MMRC ग्रेडिंग। तो MMRC ग्रेडिंग यू हैव टू नोट इन दिस योर नोटबुक बिकॉज दिस इज आस्क्ड इन योर वाइवा, व्हाट इज द MMRC ग्रेडिंग ऑफ ब्रीदिंग। तो MMRC 0 is patient get breathless only during strenuous exercise is MMRC 0, and MMRC 2 patient get short breath when hurrying on a level ground or walking up or straight hill is 1, walking up or straight hill or hurrying on a level ground it is MMRC grade 1. What is MMRC grade 2? Patient walks slower than the people of the same age group on a level ground because of breathlessness and he has to stop for the breath when walking on the own pace on the level ground. What is MMRC 3? पेशेंट 100 मीटर्स तक भी चलेगा तो ही विल गेट ब्रेथलेस, एंड MMRC ग्रेड 4 में ड्रेसिंग एंड ड्रेसिंग में भी पेशेंट ब्रेथलेस होगा। तो देयर आर 5 पॉइंट्स इन द MMRC 0 to 4। MMRC 0 इज पेशेंट विल बी ब्रेथलेस that is a normal patient. Patient will get breathless only during the strenuous exercise. MMRC 1, patient will get breathless only during walking uphill, hurrying on level ground and walking uphill. MMRC grade 2 में patient will be too breathless on the comparison of the same age group person, ठीक है, walking on the own pace on a level ground. एंड MMRC ग्रेड 3 में पेशेंट 100 मीटर्स भी नहीं चल पाएगा. एंड MMRC ग्रेड 4 में पेशेंट इज टू ब्रेथलेस ऑन ड्रेसिंग एंड अनड्रेसिंग. ठीक है, तो दीज आर द MMRC ग्रेडिंग यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ठीक है, दिस इज ऑल्सो यू हैव टू राइट इन योर नोटबुक. ठीक है, दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर यू. ठीक है, जस्ट नोट डाउन. ठीक है, इतना ही पढ़ना है COPD में तुम्हारे लिए. दिस मच इज इम्पॉर्टेंट ओनली.